This episode, it's the Ritzy Cruise Diary on luxury cruising. We're taking you behind the scenes of our most recent escapade on a brand new ship that looks sophisticated, looks indulgent, but for only half the price of its most expensive competitors. Is this too good to be true? We'll show you exactly what happened to us, the day-to-day experience, the restaurants, the entertainment, as well as some of the exotic destinations we stopped at on this sailing. Let's find out if this is really the cruise experience you've been waiting for. You're watching the Ritzy Cruise Diary to the Oceania Allura. Welcome back to the Ritzy Travel Guide. My name is Bill, and it's great to have you along with us. You join us for part 2 of our series taking a close-up look at luxury cruising. This time it's the turn of Oceania and their new flagship, the Allura. The first part was released a couple of weeks ago and is available now for viewing. That episode is what we call the full review and verdict of the ship. We showed you everything from top to bottom and rated it across a number of categories. If you haven't watched that episode yet, please do so after this, as it is an important one and will give you some really useful insight. Later on, I'll give you the links for that video. This time, it's what we call the Cruise Diary, and it's designed to be a companion edition. This is where we bring you much more behind the scenes and help you decide if luxury cruising is indeed for you, and then if Oceania is the right one. Because who your fellow passengers are on any ship is a very important aspect. Sharing a ship with like-minded people is always going to be much more enjoyable. And this sailing with the Allura, I'd have to say that approximately half the people aboard were completely new to Oceania. They'd never been with them before and who would normally cruise with the more expensive ultra-luxury segment. People who were used to the likes of Regent or Silversea or Seabourn. And yet this was the first time they were sailing with Oceania. Why? Well, because they were curious. Let's call them curious savers. They'd heard that Oceania is the chance to save $1 or $2 from the more pricey ultra-luxury world. They still wanted the elegance, the service, the space of luxurious cruising, but they were quietly asking if they could get something very similar to ultra-luxury cruising, but for half the price. The other group we met on board were those who come from the opposite direction, those who'd come from premium cruising. That's one notch lower, from the likes of Celebrity, Princess, Holland America or Cunard. They wanted to know if they paid slightly more, whether they would notice the difference. So during this video, we'll address both of those angles, people coming from here, people coming from here, and see if the ship could suit both. Plus, I have some of the port stops we went on during that particular sailing. I'll give you a peep at those, because we often get asked to show more of the ports that we go to give a little bit of inspiration, give some ideas. Whoa! So get yourself a nice comfy chair, pour yourself a drink, get some nibbles. That sailing, we were on a 7-night cruise around the Caribbean. Let's pick up the action as we arrived at Miami in Florida, and with just 1,200 passengers aboard, surely Embarkation would be a breeze, right? Well, I have no idea what Miami was cooking up that day, but Embarkation turned into a bit of a circus. It caught us completely by surprise.
Has to be said, there's quite a long queue, isn't there?
Miami is normally the gold standard for getting you aboard, but even the most zen amongst us were starting to get a little bit twitchy as the minutes ticked by.
I reckon it could take quite a while to check in. I think so.
I wouldn't say it was chaos, but it certainly wasn't going well. People were starting to get quite hot under the collar. Was it a port mix-up? Was it a ship delay? We never found out. But finally, the Allura was in sight.
Oh my god,
Finally,
it was chaos. Got the frustration out of our system.
let's start with a mocktail.
I'm starting with a cocktail. It's a lot stronger than a mocktail, I can tell you. But let's get on board. Let's see what the ship looks like. It's this one here. It's the Allura. The flagship, should we say, in their range.
It does look very, very nice.
Right, are we ready to get on board?
Let's go.
And after all that jostling aboard, the first thing I felt I needed was a stiff drink. So off we went, hunting through the ship. Quick glance at the main atrium as we went by, looking very gold, very glitzy.
very gold. Would we call that gold? I'd call that gold. Shimmering, shiny gold.
Lots of swirling staircases. Then we stumbled upon the martini bar. Now, I was fully intending to order myself a triple scotch on the rocks, but as tempting as that seemed, somehow we ended up at Baristas Cafe, right at the top of the ship. And what a happy accident that turned out to be.
Day 1, hour 1 almost. What have we stumbled upon?
Can I just say,
The
we
Crepe.
haven't even sailed away.
Yes.
And you found the most important outlet, which is...
I think this is the most important room in the ship, the Creperie. Oh, look at that, banoffee, sliced banana, caramel and whipped cream. Look at that.
Crepes, is it? Gourmand and caramel.
Which is the best one?
Everything is the best, sir.
Really? I think I'm in serious on this cruise.
I recommend this banoffee crepe.
So without looking greedy, how do you say I want from number 1 to number 5?
Look at
Henceforth, I shall name this place the Naughty Corner, the Delicious Corner. There we go, look at that. Isn't that an absolute triumph? Isn't that a masterpiece? Just for purposes of clarity and avoidance of doubt, you did give me permission to order this one, didn't you?
Oh, the guilt of that crepe. And it wasn't just my guilt. Mrs. Ritzy was caught red-handed with one too. Now, if you know my wife, this is almost rarer than spotting a leopard in your back garden. This Baristas Coffee bar soon became a firm favourite throughout the cruise. It's actually 3 tempting venues in one. In the centre, you have a supersized coffee bar serving specialty coffees. It also houses a delightful Parisian bakery with sinful creations to test a saint and a variety of savoury bites. Baristas is the holy trinity of all things sinful and exciting. And keeping to the indulgent cooking theme, do you know what was almost next door? The Culinary Centre. Think of a cooking academy at sea.
Here we are in the Culinary Centre. One of the fun things to do on boarding day is to go and look at the ship's facilities because they open them all up. You might want to sign up for some cooking classes while you're aboard. Mrs. Ritzy is possibly signing up over there.
The best thing about this kitchen is the view.
Isn't it fantastic? Kitchen with a view.
It's one of the few additional cost activities aboard, but it is unbelievably popular. One of the most signed up extracurricular activities on the ship. By then, it was time to head up to top deck to watch the sail away.
It's the sail away, Miami. Sun's going down, jazz band in the background. Lovely way to sail out, isn't it?
With a bit of a sail away live music.
Perfect evening to be on deck as the sun went down. We got our first glimpse of the pool area. It is a stunner, absolutely gorgeous, and it's one of the reasons we booked the ship in the first place. Some cruise lines are awful for deck space because you just can't see out of them. Not here, you can look in every direction. Thank God, because Miami is cruise capital of the world. There's so much to see as you leave. Do yourself a favour if you sail out of Miami, get up on deck, because you're treated to a front row view of its iconic coastline. As you sail past the beaches, you'll notice ship spotters camping along the waterfront, binoculars and cameras at the ready. The sail away is absolutely something you shouldn't miss. Would you like to see our cabin? We haven't shown that to you yet. We were in a concierge grade balcony right near the aft of the ship.
Right, here we go. Looking for cabin 8140. Must say it's looking very smart everywhere, isn't it? Well, the first thing I notice, the carpet. It's very soft underfoot. It's almost like a trampoline. There, look, see, look, bouncy, bouncy.
It's very plush.
Ah, here we are. 8140, we're the dead end of the corridor. We're last on the line. Wow, we're next to this rather intriguing door. What's this intriguing door?
Do you know what? Despite being in concierge, we felt a little bit like poor relations. We found we were right next to the penthouse suite, the most expensive address on the ship.
It's possibly a very, very smart suite, that one. Look. Look, that's... Okay, our door, somebody else's door. It's got 2 of them, and it's leather-bound with sort of goldy bits on it. It's like different doors. I've got door envy. We're the poor relations down at the end of the corridor. Right, okay, cabin envy over, let's go in. We're practically in the engine room here. Not in the engine room, engine room. Right, in we go, let's have a look. Here we go. Ooh, what have we got? What does it look like? I see tinges of blue somewhere. We're on the discotheque floor.
It's very nice, isn't it? Feels cozy, this one.
Look at this. It's a nice looking cabin, isn't it? Now, what Oceania says is that their cabins are a bit oversized compared to the competition. I have to say, I think it is a little bit. I'm immediately liking the decoration. I think it's got that certain elegance to it. I'm liking the overtones of silver. It's all slightly fabriced. It's got an elegant feel, an upmarket feel to it, hasn't it? Yes. On the threadometer, I would rate that quite highly, really. Let's give this a bed test. Did that look very ungainly as I jumped in there? It's soft, this, isn't it? You're absolutely right. That's on the threadometer count, on the plushometer counter, that's doing quite well. Nice plump cushions. I don't know how many ducks or goose feathers have gone into that. Got some reasonable sized bedside drawers there, some nightstands. These ever so popular lights that you're getting on all the cruise ships now. Slightly different shape, slightly different design, but it's roughly the same thing.
By the beds, you have USB-C. So I think viewers, increasingly, if you're in a newer ship, check your cables because they now tend to opt for USB-C cables.
Yes, there's not many of the bigger USB-A cables anymore.
Yeah, so
they're all pretty much the USB-C. And there's no poor relation. There is equal socketry both sides. Have you not been on some of those cruise ships which annoyingly only have them on one side just to save $1 or $2? Well, they have got equal here. And I tell you what I've spotted here, right here, the pride of place on the table, a bottle of complimentary, well, I'd like to say, champagne. It's actually Prosecco because in this grade of cabin, in the Concierge, you do get a complimentary bottle of sparkling with 2 glasses. So what, I think we'll have to take this to Jacques, the French restaurant, try it there, get them to open that up. Thankfully, hooray, a decent size safe.
I like this. Look, reusable bottle. So they give you a bottle and you can take it round the ship on excursions to shore, fill it up, and bring it in.
Okay, what have we got in here? Okay, we've got a pre-stocked minibar with some soft drinks. Right, should we take a look at the bathroom? We haven't looked at that yet. It's quite spacious actually for this cabin grade.
I've never come across a bathroom where they have like a corner, plenty of space. It's not often that your bathroom has more shelves than the bedroom. And in this instance,
it's a very, very spacious looking bathroom actually, isn't it? Big fabulosity mirror there, above the basin.
I love this big, enormous rain shower.
Now, I reckon you could go right up to 6'4", 6'5", and not have a problem there. They've pitched this just nicely. It's got a good upmarket feel to it.
Yeah.
Right, let's take a look at the balcony, shall we?
This is fantastic.
So, we've got 2 chairs there. Nice little table there. I think we might have to try room service for breakfast. It's a sea day tomorrow. Maybe we try room service out here. But I'd have to give fairly decent marks for this balcony, actually. It's a nice size.
By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please do give it a thumbs up, give it a like, as it lets us know we're on the right track, and we'll try to put out more of this type of material. Now, in case you haven't yet watched video 1 and are unaware of the pricing structure, let me quickly bring you up to speed. Oceania, no matter which of the ships you're on, across their fleet, they're almost all inclusive. Not quite, but very nearly. Later on, I'll show you some of the dining, but all of the restaurants aboard, including the 4 speciality, are included in the fare, as is the Wi-Fi, cruise gratuities, soft drinks, speciality coffees and teas. And as from 2026 onwards, from now, you get the choice of either a Shore excursion credit or wine and beer at lunch and dinner. So quite a lot bundled into the fare, including those speciality dining, and that first night we were aboard, we booked ourselves into possibly the most famous of the lot. That's called Jacques, and it's French.
And tonight we're dressing up just a little bit because we're going French. Yes, indeed. We're going to Jacques. Say it with a French accent. Jacques.
How good is your French?
How good is our French? Well, I wonder if they've got escargot on the menu.
We could practically smell the garlic and the snails from the other side of the ship. Before we got there was practically 50,000 calories per dessert on display outside the door. This was clearly not going to be the evening to show restraint. Hello, good evening. Bonsoir. Jacques is decorated in Parisian bistro style, and the waitstaff are correspondingly dressed in Champs-Élysées outfits. Time to order some of their famous dishes. I have to say, there is a fantastic menu here. So we have foie gras here, doesn't that look pretty? A brioche bun to go with the foie gras. Oh, hang on, you've got table-side service. What's going on here? Oh, beef tartare. That's practically mooing. Did you know you were going to get a little show?
Yes.
Tabasco, extra Tabasco.
Oh, how much Tabasco do you want? The whole bottle. Put the whole lot in there. Oh, yes, look at that. That's very, very fresh. Very professionally done. That is an excellent job. It does taste better when they've done it tableside, doesn't it? It tastes more fresh.
I think you're going to be a celebrity soon.
Yes, Master Chef.
And the final toss, the crouton.
Oh, just to make it look pretty. Yes, must look decorative. So, that's a very petite, very cute little escargot there, isn't it?
There's escargot on the menu, and I haven't ordered it.
You've missed it by mistake.
I'm not in top form.
No. Meantime, I've got some gnocchi. How does that rate? Because celebrity is currently your favourite escargot.
Perfect.
Is it very, very good, is it?
The lobster.
Okay. Oh, here comes the lobster. Look at that. Lobster thermidor. That's not the tail, that's the whole thing, isn't it? That's a good-looking lobster thermidor, isn't it? And you went for the Côte de Boeuf.
I say I ordered 12 or 20 ounce.
How is it a little framed lady like you going to have over 20 ounces?
And this is small.
Okay, you got a little jus in a little pot, a little pan.
Can you see that? It's perfection.
Is it cooked to perfection? Wow, my wife has ordered a dessert. Do you know how rare that is for my wife to order a dessert? I'm thinking very much of having the rum baba.
Oh, wow, that's a really good choice.
It's a very good one. Is there a lot of rum on that?
If you want it, sir, I've given you a lot of rums in it.
I would like a lot of rum in it. I would like it to be swimming in it.
Whipped cream on the top and the all over.
You do realize after that you're going to have mostly rum for dessert.
Yes, I know, but that's not the surprising part that I've ordered rum baba. The surprising part is that you have ordered a dessert.
You are in the French restaurant, so you wouldn't do it justice if you didn't finish with dessert.
And in came the Salt Bay impersonator on Oceania, the waiter of desserts. Ah, it's your profiterole. Oh, look at that chocolate going on there. Yes. We need that artistry.
And there we go. That is what I'm talking about to you, sir.
Oh, look at that, the rum baba.
There you go. Look at that, sir. Look at that. Here we go. The rum is drunk.
Wow, look at that.
That is an aqueduct.
That is sailing away.
It's sailing away. Allura Oceania rum.
Smell the rum coming off that.
Your rum baba needs a swimming license.
It's practically a soup of rum baba. You better not light a match because there's a lot of rum on that. Wow. There's a lot of rum in there. If I had to walk in a straight line as a sobriety test, I would probably fail as a result of that.
I know. I can smell the rum from here. It's ridiculous.
Meantime, in Chocolate City, I wonder how long she's going to the gym tomorrow. Do we think she's rowing to Belize? I think she possibly is. Maybe rowing to Antarctica? I have to say that evening in Jacques was very enjoyable. Fantastic waitstaff. Very professional, full of character, which is lovely to see. We thought the ambiance and the quality of cuisine was excellent. Fairly bulging at the seams after that, we felt exercise was in order, so off to the theatre. They were fair thrusting and gyrating in there. I can tell you that stopped some of the audience falling asleep. The venue is similar to what you see on a lot of luxury ships, more lounge style, which we like because it's intimate. There's great views, you're up close right by the action. They have a live band on stage, it's good to see that. And after a full night of entertainment that evening, we headed back to the cabin. And guess what? Hooray! The cruise tradition of a bedtime chocolate is still alive and well. What do we have on our pillow? Look, a little teeny tiny little chocolate. Oceania. It's amazing how a little bit of chocolate placed on your bed at the end of the day makes the world feel a much better place, doesn't it? By the way, Ritzy Travel Guide is on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to know what we're up to in real time, you can follow us around the world on both of these. You'll see what we're trying out, the countries we visit, and behind the scenes. The channel name is the same as here, Ritzy Travel Guide for Instagram and Ritzy Travel Guide 1 for Facebook. And I'll also put the address down in the description box for this video. So follow along with us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you in those. Coming up shortly in this episode, we're going to take a close-up look at who we think this cruise would suit. Plus who your fellow passengers might be, so you can get a feel for how it would be if you were aboard an Oceania cruise and here on the Allura. And I tell you what, a sea day is a fantastic opportunity to take a really good look at the ship and work out if it's for you or not. For us, that was day 2, and as ever, we were both up with the lark.
Well, good morning, and this morning's activity is quite interesting. Up bright and early because we're heading to the theatre. Why are we going to the theatre at 7 o'clock, you might be saying? Well, because they have theatre aerobics. I have absolutely never heard of theatre aerobics. Mrs. Ritzy signed up for that one. It was called immersive yoga. How about this?
Immersive yoga. And it's not just me, because I've signed you up.
Pardon?
I've signed you up.
What?
And you need to immediately grab a chair because the chairs are running out.
On inhale, lift you
Mrs. Ritzy was quite enjoying herself. Told me it was good for the soul and the body. I did try to get into the swing of things, but truth be told, I might only have survived for a few minutes until I could smell the waft of the bakery luring me in. So I dodged out, promising to return, and then popped momentarily into Baristas, where the savoury snacks were being laid out, and I might or might not have sampled a morsel or two before heading outside to have a strident promenade. There were already a few fellow exercises. I do love the outside decks first thing in the morning, don't you? The smell of the sea air. And a quick peep to see who's around. There's an international grade pickleball competition already on the go. Pickleball is so de rigueur these days. And this Oceania's version of the Augusta National Golf Club. It's been nicely done here, actually. Very scenic. And I see a swinger out on deck with his club. It's never too early to swing. By then, my wife had spotted me out the window and summoned me up to the gym. Who do I see here?
Bailed out.
Were you... Oh. A totally alien part of the ship for me. It's nicely positioned, top of the ship, with some great views out. And it's got all the equipment, so I'm reliably informed. And there she was, Mrs. Ritzy, exercising for the both of us. At least someone was working off those French desserts from the night before. Time for breakfast? Well, possibly a second one for me after that early bakery pit stop. Time to act healthy.
Et voila! Look at that! I've almost surprised myself. That's a plate full of healthiness. Now, normally my wife gives me absolute jip for having an unhealthy breakfast. Let's see if I get heaps of praise. So I just have to stop midpoint to do a photographic-looking shot. Here we go. Our spot right in the corner. Here we go. You have a very pretty spot there, right in the corner. Anything to note? Anything of note about my breakfast this morning?
Be like some cookie corn for that.
What? Yes, because there are no cookies on there. I mean, well done me. That's the word that comes to mind. Well done me. I do just have to take that shot, because this is what cruising is all about. This is encapsulating the experience in one. Breakfast on the aft deck as the sea drifts by. We're at a vibration point here, look at that. Look.
Wait, I'm gonna pour the... It makes its own latte art. Look, watch this.
We are particularly shaking here, aren't we? What's going on? Do the engines need some recalibration? Do you think this is what it felt like in Pompeii? The Earth was moving before some major event was about to happen. Is the world moving for you? I feel like we're being put through a spin-dryer cycle. Yes, Chief Engineer, note to you. It's a bit rattly up here.
So, late breakfast over and our fillings rattled out, we headed to a morning by the pool, which by then had a slightly carnival atmosphere going on. Band playing, sun out, blue sky, full-on vacation mode. Mrs. Ritzy likes a dance. And above all else, what did I notice? Absolutely no chaos. Now, see, look here. There's no lounger warfare. No running down at an ungodly hour to grab and reserve your space. You just don't need to. There's enough to go round. Compare this to other cruise lines where it's a free-for-all in the morning, a smash and grab. Not here. This is exactly why you might consider paying more for a luxury cruise. Now, as relaxing and beautiful as that poolside area is, time was creeping up on us. In fact, it was just gone 3 o'clock, which meant just one thing on Oceania. It was rapidly approaching tea time.
Well, gang, it's 3:30 in the afternoon on a sea day, and what does that mean? It means afternoon tea, and Mrs. Ritzy has given me permission to have it. Here we go, Horizons Lounge. I can hear the music in the background.
Now, if there's one thing Oceania Cruises is positively fanatical about, it's afternoon tea. Seriously so. They serve it with swagger. For a moment, I felt like we were on the set of Bridgerton. So in the name of research, I know you'd want us to go up and check out the tea and report back. Not only was there chamber music, but there was Mrs. Ritzy, already settled into what you might call the most relaxed tea setup in history. Yes, they have chaise longues at tea. You look very relaxed.
Can we share sofas? Is it a sofa for two for tea?
I suppose it's relaxing, cozy.
Yes. That's what we're looking at, you can imagine. How civilised. Hear the string quartet? We're in a Jane Austen book. How romantic.
And a short chaise longue.
A chaise for two.
Chaise for two. Relaxing afternoon tea with your feet up.
I feel like I'm back at 1770 with the music in the background.
Good afternoon, Mr. Darcy.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Darcy. Hello there.
How are you? How about you?
What choices do we have? What exciting ones do we
We have
have?
Alice breakfast tea. This one the regular one. Earl Grey decaf. And Alice breakfast decaf.
Well, I think we ought to have English afternoon, bearing in mind it's
Yes,
afternoon.
because the afternoon tea.
Yes.
And then the trolleys swept into view with all the tempting choices. It is nice to have this the traditional way. There's all sorts of sweet and savoury choices, and then throughout the afternoon, a whole selection of different varieties come around. We are looking for that strawberry, that elusive strawberry, the last one. Resistance is futile, there's no point even trying. Just when you think you couldn't possibly manage another strawberry tart, along comes one more. Before long your table is groaning with all the things you swore you don't need, but somehow try anyway. Just a small little sampling to tide us over till dinner time, really. It certainly did tide us over till dinner. And best of all, it's included in the cruise fare. So that night, having filled up with all the afternoon tea goodies, we decided to eat slightly later, and potentially slightly lighter, we thought we would try out the buffet. And I'm very glad we did. It turned out to be an excellent decision.
Now, we don't often go to buffet for dinner, but tonight there is the Caribbean hot buffet, so we thought we'd come and take a look. Here, look, there's on the menu.
Look, you have lots of seafood.
All sorts of live stations. I think we should give it a try. Into the Terrace Cafe we go. I smell all things Caribbean. Always buzzing. Other people have had the same idea. Oh, I see a suckling pig. Hang on, let's just go by. I see a suckling pig. Okay, we've got all sorts of interesting things on this Caribbean night. Oh, look, they've got some paella. Look, island-style pork curry, Cajun roast potatoes. This is the night to come to the buffet for dinner, isn't it? It's a popular night to come for a Caribbean buffet. Oh, hang on a minute, what's those? Chicken on a stick. Let's go and have a look at that one. Oh, a meat skewers. Okay, I think we need to try some of the island pork curry. Just a little morsel of that one. Oh, hello again. Okay.
It's more delicious because it's a Caribbean dinner.
I will be back for these desserts. Look at those, they're delicious.
This one is a special Caribbean. Tres de leches. It's
Oh, tres leches, yes. Okay, we will be back.
It has a really good level of cuisine.
Yes.
Now, this is what you can get. Can you see that everything is individually plated, which makes it a little bit more refined?
Many cruise lines in the luxury sector are no longer serving an evening buffet, so it's really refreshing to see the Oceania do it properly.
Inside has no candles. The candles are all up.
Oh, romantic evening, here we come. Hashtag romance. Isn't that pretty out there? Oh, look, it's all candlelit and glistening and glowy. I was just inviting the viewers to come and sit and have dinner with us. Imagine, dear viewer, you're dining with us. You're on the Oceania Allura. It's Caribbean night on the buffet, and you're here with us. There, look. Isn't it fantastic? Right at the back of the ship. Candlelight, under the moonlight, the stars, heading to our next port. I have a little bit of a confession. I might have just tiptoed in towards the dessert counter.
It's not a confession. Evidence. There's 3 desserts on your plate.
Well, you see, that lovely dessert lady, she said I should try that one, and that one. Yeah, but you heard what she said to me. What did she say to me? Corroborate this.
She said, "Oh, sir, please try and tell me it is good." She was very sweet, wasn't she?
And then she said, come back and tell me.
She is the perfect person in the dessert counter.
She is.
She's as sweet as the desserts.
See, this is a prime example of when a ship has the right number of passengers for the space and the size. Each venue you go to, you can sit, you can get a space.
This is what dinner should be.
It is how dinner should be. It's how cruising used to be. This is taking you back to how cruising was.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
This is exactly how cruising should be. We loved sitting out there on the aft deck, watching the sun turn to starlight. Many an evening, even on nights where we dined elsewhere, we often ended up back there, end of the day, cocktail or coffee in hand, under the stars. And you know what? That delightful dessert lady got me every time. Her name is Sri. She's so delightful, so lovely, always cheerful, with a heartwarming smile.
That one is fantastic. That
it's
one,
chocolate mousse.
that is the award winner.
Ah, this is your favorite.
It's delicious.
Chocolate mousse
He
is
came
special.
specifically to give you his feedback.
Try one more?
Oh my god!
Yes, why not? I love this market.
You're head of sales of dessert counter.
Can I just say, Sri, you're on the right counter. You are as sweet as the desserts.
Oh, thank you so much.
It somehow makes even the simplest of treats seem like a little bit of magic.
Candlelight. The amazing buffet dinner. What a night.
In a minute, I'm going to share something very important with you. I'm going to be going through line by line who we think this cruise is best suited to. That's coming up very shortly. But first, one of the other big reasons people watch our cruise diary is for a little bit of destination inspiration. On this sailing, we were exploring parts of the Caribbean and Central America. We enjoyed pretty much all of them that we went to. But 2 of them really stood out to us, and I'm going to show you snippets from both, just a couple of minutes. Here's a look at the first. We arrived in one of the Caribbean's best little destinations. Occasionally it does get criticised in online chat groups, but we think has a lot to offer. It's Roatan in the Honduras. Well, good morning and welcome to Roatan, the coast of Honduras. Small little island. But I tell you what, is a busy small little island today because there are six cruise ships here on an island that's just 2 miles wide. And do you know what one of those ships is? It's our big one, Icon of the Seas. It's the case of little and large, isn't it? Here's little us on Oceania Allura, and then big, whopping Icon of the Seas across the bay over there. About 7,000 people, just over 1,000. It's like 7 to 1. For us, it was a tender port. If the weather is nice, we like to get these because you get close to the water. Some of the larger ships in town that day were tied up right next to the jetty, but I'm glad we had a little boat journey and we got a better view. And a island welcome directly ahead of us. Roatan sits just off the coast of Honduras and is the largest of the Bay Islands. Despite being part of Central America, it feels more like a laid-back Caribbean outpost. English is widely spoken here, thanks to our rather colourful past involving pirates. So if you like a pirate story or two, you're going to see a lot here. That day we were booked on an independent tour, and I tell you what, no crowds if you go independent. There was just 2 of us. Later on I will give you the link for what we're about to see. Roatan sits on what's called the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, which is the 2nd largest coral reef system in the world, which means incredible snorkeling, diving and marine life just a few minutes offshore. On a previous visit we had been diving here, but on this occasion we booked to see the Mayan Eden. This is a popular wildlife park tucked in the lush green hills, just a short drive from the cruise port. The park here focuses on rescue animals and caring for them, which means you can see everything from playful monkeys to brilliantly coloured parrots up close.
Rambutan.
Rambutan, yes.
Are they like rambutans?
People used to confuse these
Oh, they're so
with
gentle.
leashes, you know.
It's very gentle.
Yes, don't worry.
It's very gentle.
We've got some cappuccino monkeys here. Oh, look at their little tail. Look, they're holding tails together, look. By the tails, isn't that cute? And one of the highlights for many visitors is the chance to interact with the island's famous sloths. Creatures that seem to operate on an entirely different schedule to everybody else.
Priscilla, Nikki.
Priscilla and Nikki. These are the 3-toed sloth. They're famous for living life in the slow lane. And here's a fun fact. Sloths come down from the trees normally only about 1 time per week. Usually that's just to go to the bathroom. The rest of their lives are spent hanging out in the canopy, quite literally taking life in the slow lane. And on the way back, my eye was caught by a sign that said, "Come in for chocolates and rum." So we did. Oh, hang on a minute.
Rum-infused cigars.
Rum-infused cigars. How about that? So you get double vice, 2 vices in one. When 1 vice isn't enough, you're smoking and you're drinking at the same time. Tell you what, that tender journey back seems all the more fun after a few samples of rum. Roatan really is a beautiful spot. Several cruise lines go here, not just Oceania. So there are chances if you're going on a cruise in the area, you might find yourself here. We've actually visited Roatan on a few occasions in the past, and in coming months I will be putting together a dedicated video specifically on Roatan, looking at the different things you can do here, options for every activity level, from wildlife and beaches to more adventurous excursions. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that new video when it comes out. In the meantime, whilst waiting for that, I have put a link in the description of this video for tours that go to the Mayan Eden if you want to book and do what we did. Meantime, we arrived back on ship feeling a little bit peckish and decided the perfect sample was to try room service. It's included in the fare, so why not take advantage of it? Ah, room service. Hello. Could we have it out on the veranda, please?
Wow.
Well, we've had a hard morning in Roatan, looking at monkeys, and now it's time to treat ourselves to a snack and some drinks.
Look, we have antipasti.
Is that the meze platter?
I think it is. I think it's tzatziki, hummus, and baba ganoush.
Mm-hmm. Some very healthy sushi.
And in case you forgot what breakfast is all about, the croque monsieur.
Well, that will keep the wolf from the door. So there we are, dear viewer. You can imagine you're here with us, with a background of the Honduras and Roatan Island, and a selection of tapas and meze and light bites with the swaying palms. Our mini feast over, the ship had begun easing away from Roatan. Evening light was softening, the island slowly drifting away behind us. Honestly, this is one of those quiet, magical cruise moments. No crowds, no schedule, just the gentle hum of the ship and the ocean stretching away. Around the pool deck, the music was playing softly and people were still enjoying the last rays of sunshine. It was beautiful in the late afternoon sun. That evening, we had reservations, Italian style, at Toscana. Well, good evening. I already have my red wine in hand.
Why? Well, it's an Italian red because we're going Italian tonight to Toscana.
We could practically hear that jaunty Amalfi music ringing in our ears from along the corridor. And it's a pretty restaurant, nicely done. The first thing you bump into, apart from that bread basket, is the olive oil sommelier. Yes, indeed, you get to choose the oil to go with that bread.
Your vinegar trolley looks very handsome.
Choose your olive
You're choosing your olive oil. Choose wisely. Thank you very much. We can't start the dinner without choosing our balsamic.
Sir, would you like full body?
Yes, I'd like full-bodied, please.
All right, sir. Very nice.
Luckily, we're talking about balsamic here.
He was one of the most beaming and smiley staff you could ever wish for, and rightly proud of his trolley selection.
I must say that bread basket is beautifully done, isn't it? Look at the artwork on that bread basket.
And then you can spread the...
So what did we order? An excellent bit of classic 1970s showmanship.
So we have suckling pig, which I'm having as an appetizer. Seafood tripino.
Why not?
We have a Dover sole demonstration. What are you going to do to this fish?
Just a little one.
Oh, I see, right.
Oh, I see.
It's a bit of artistry, it's a bit of magic. They're boning it. He has painstakingly deboned that one. That is a master, I don't know what you call him, a deboner? But that is an excellent job, well done. In the meantime, we have a little bit of steak with a Roquefort blue cheese crust. Can you smell my blue cheese from here?
I'm very glad it's on your plate.
Because you're not a fan of blue cheese. I tell you what, if you're not a blue cheese fan, you could smell this from the next bay. I think you could almost smell this in the Dominican Republic. It has a very, very strong aroma.
Downwind.
Downwind.
The steak was delicious, and the meal was finished off with a shared chocolate lava cake. It really was a lovely evening at Toscana. We would recommend it. Now, a word again here, I've said it before, the moment you have your Oceania cruise booked and confirmed and paid for, go online and book all 4 of those specialty dining restaurants because they are incredibly popular. Everyone wants to get in them. There is more demand than there is supply. So make sure you're not disappointed. Go online and book before you get on the ship. If for some reason you can't get any reservations, there are some cancellations and some late availability. Once you're on the ship, there is a little desk there. You can go each day to check if an availability has come up. You can also make a reservation that way. Next morning, we would be arriving in Belize. And we had an excursion booked in Belize that quite possibly ended up being our most favourite out of all the excursions we took that cruise.
Well, very good morning and welcome to Belize. Really looking forward to this one. We're going to be going ashore and, well, dicing with death really. We've signed up for an extreme excursion. We're going into the caves. Sometimes when we book excursions you think, well, we need to push ourselves just a little bit, and today is one of those days. And it's a tender port today, so we're going to take one of these little boats that's going to take us ashore. And who do we see hoving into distance? Is Explora.
There's a battle of the luxury, premium/luxury cruise ships in the sea here. Again, this stop required a boat trip to get to shore. It was a lovely morning, beautiful views all around, and a chance to look at Explora, our friendly competitors. A few minutes later, we were arriving on the outskirts of Belize City, and the first thing you notice is the colour, the vibrant buildings, the lively streets, and the waterfront. Belize attracts cruise ships for a reason, because it's easy to get ashore, the scenery is spectacular, and there's a remarkable range of excursions within reach.
Okay, dear viewer, which ship would you rather be getting off, Oceania or Explora? Leave your comments down below. What do you think? Which is the more prestigious? Which is the nicer? Which do you feel you'd like to be on? To say, it's a very pretty waterfront here, isn't it? Belize City. It's got a lot of hubbub. Hubbub's a good word to describe it. Little bit of activity, little bit of buzz, little bit of action going on. Like port settings like this. Hustling and bustling place.
Then that day we had booked an independent excursion, this time taking us about an hour inland, straight into the dense Belizean jungle. We were going to be going caving through water caverns, but you had to get there first on foot. The air was thick with atmosphere under the canopy of those trees. I quite felt like we were mini adventurers, mini explorers as we went through. Into the caves, first part on foot, making your way through this myriad of caverns. And the path ahead promised something a little different from your usual beach strolls. We had to transfer into tubes. We were fitted with miner's helmets and lights on top. And each tube was chained together for safety, ready to drift along this subterranean river. And off we went, slowly at first. Then the twists and turns started, with the mini rapids sending us on our way, enough to make our hearts skip a beat. At times it was pitch dark, the only light coming from the tiny glow of our headlamps, reflecting off those wet cave walls. Every corner held a surprise. Sparkling mineral deposits, echoes of dripping water, and that somewhat surreal sensation of floating in an underground world that feels untouched by time. The experience is equal parts serene and thrilling at the same time. It's a true sense of adventure that makes you feel completely immersed inside. By the time we emerged, about 45 minutes an hour later, we felt exhilarated but grinning from ear to ear. It really had been a fabulous experience. So for anyone who's interested in exploring a little bit further in Belize, and I would recommend it, I'll be putting out a dedicated video, and in the meantime I have left a link in the description down below of exactly this tour we took if you want to do the very same one. Heading back to the ship after that excursion, we were still buzzing, on a bit of a high. As we skimmed across the water, our hearts were still racing. It had been a fantastic day out. And that evening back on board, we'd built up quite the appetite. Time for our last speciality dining, and we'd kept one of the best till last. It's called Polo. And from the moment you step in, the vibe is unmistakable. The walls are adorned with polo-themed props, crests, trophies, and equestrian touches, giving the room a whole playful yet sophisticated energy. Got floor-to-ceiling windows, providing lovely views of the sea. I feel like we're in a country club. I should be whacking a ball. I should be getting my polo equipment out of my bag. I see a salad trolley coming into play. And no steakhouse experience would be complete without that time-honoured tableside service. Classic Caesar salad, prepared right before your eyes. It's the theatre of dining.
Can I just say, you can actually have that same Caesar salad in the buffet.
I know. I'm a sucker for anything that's prepared tableside. I wasn't going to have the salad. I saw somebody who was there on the other table having table-prepared Caesar salad, so I thought, let's go for it. In fact, I'm now thinking what else on the menu I should order that might potentially be tableside, even if it's not. Definitely I'm going to ask if the crepe Suzette is tableside, flambe, set fire to it. If that's not, I'm going to say anything you're going to set fire to, I'll have it. Even if it's ice cream, let's set fire to that as well. So, we have oysters Rockefeller. Look at those big, plumptious, humongous, giant, super specimens. I have some clam chowder. And the food was very good. The steaks were excellent. A huge variety of sizes and styles. Could I just say there's a huge prawns.
You don't know the size of the prawn until you put things into perspective. Look at that.
Okay, that prawn is bigger than your steak. Well, I hope you're hungry. Bon appetit.
A mini lobster.
It's not often you get a prawn that is bigger than a steak. It was really excellent all round. And you know what? We were intending to go up to the off deck by the buffet just to get a coffee. But somehow we bumped into the dessert lady. And you can imagine what happened. That one. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Ice cream?
Yeah.
Should I go for the ice cream?
Oh, what's flavor? I have special every day.
Elvis the Fat Years.
Yes, every day we change the flavor.
Elvis the Fat Years.
It's a banana and bacon inside.
But he did die immediately after having ice cream.
No, you're more good.
She wants to kill me.
No sugar and plain base.
Well, no sugar.
No sugar.
There you go.
Every day we have no sugar and plain base.
I tell you what, I'm going to that little Egyptian pyramid right there.
Very good.
Okay, let's try that one as well then.
And then with the vanilla ice cream is perfect.
You want me to have that ice cream, don't you? All right.
I think Grand Marnier.
What Grand Marnier? Oh, Grand Marnier. Oh, yes, Grand Marnier. I haven't seen that one. Grand Marnier.
Like one scoop or two?
One.
Half a scoop.
Is that Grand Marnier?
She gave you a big half scoop.
I have you enjoy for the ship.
I'm sure I will enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Finish.
I have absolutely zero self-control. And Mrs. Ritzy was egging me on too. And bless Sri at the dessert counter. Now, if you have eaten way too much, one evening during the cruise is the Blue Night. It's up on the observation lounge, everything turns neon, and the entertainment staff encourage passengers to let their inner self go wild. Well, certainly looser. It's the opportunity to let your inhibitions loose on the dance floor. Many cruise lines do have a version of this evening, though mostly they are white nights rather than radioactive blue. I suppose it's a twist on a theme. The ship's band was there on stage, setting the atmosphere. These are a great way to relax and enjoy yourself. So what do we think of the overall Oceania experience, especially aboard the Allura? Would we recommend it to you? Absolutely. It was one of our favourite sailings of the last 12 months. We really enjoyed it. I can understand why Cruise Critic did name it the best new cruise ship of 2025, particularly in the luxury sector. No, it's not the cheapest ship at sea. It's not trying to be, it's not aiming to be. It's fair and square in that luxury segment. So if we're going to recommend it to you, it's on that basis. As we've said, we think the pool area is absolutely stunning. It's one of the prettiest at sea, and with 1,200 odd passengers, it never felt crowded. That's a rarity at sea these days. Pools often feel absolutely rammed. The cabins are good, nice size, big bathroom, well appointed. And as for the cuisine, and this is one of the main reasons people look at Oceania, do we think it's the finest cuisine at sea? Now, you see, I think this is a slight mistake that Oceania have made here. I would far rather that Oceania tone that down just a fraction, because what they do have is very good. And we particularly like the size of the ship. This is a bonus point for us. 1,200 people. To us, it is a fantastic sweet spot. Now, coming back to that concept, is it more of a ship for those who come down from ultra luxury, or for those who are premium who want to trade up? I want to get back to this central theme that I've mentioned earlier on, going through exactly who we think luxury cruising is suited to if you've not done luxury cruising before, and whether this on Oceania is best suited to those who are coming from the premium sector, or it suits those coming from the ultra luxury bracket, which was a lot more expensive. Which of those two sectors is Oceania and the Allura best suited to in this middle section? Let's go through what we think on this. Let's look at those coming from ultra luxury first. These are people who normally go on the very top tier of cruising, from the likes of Regent, Silversea, Crystal, Seabourn. These are what we call curious savers. First off, you would feel the moment you get aboard the ship, it does look very familiar in here on the Allura and the sister ship, the Vista, to what you get on ultra luxury cruising. No, not identical, but it has a similar feel and vibe. So to my mind, you wouldn't be losing anything on that front. The ship does look reasonably luxurious here. But Oceania is about half the price, sometimes a third of ultra luxury. Why? Whilst Oceania is nearly all-inclusive, some things are missing. First off, alcoholic drinks and cocktails are extra. Now, you can either buy a drinks package. They run about $80 per person per day, or you can opt for pay-as-you-go, pay for each drink as you take them. Don't forget that non-alcoholic drinks are included. It's just the alcoholic that aren't. Wi-Fi on Oceania is included, but it's limited to basic browsing. You need to pay extra if you think you're going to do a lot of streaming, otherwise basic would be fine. The next difference is Shore Excursions. On many ultra-luxury, not all of them, but on many ultra-luxury, Shore Excursions are included. They're not on Oceania. But to try and iron out these differences, Oceania has come up with a new program called Your Way Included. Now, for all cruises booked from 2026 onwards, included in your cruise fare. No matter which cabin you book, you get a choice of either wine and beer at lunch and dinner with your meals, or you get a Shore Excursion credit. It won't cover all of your excursions. It's typically about $600 credit, depends on your cabin grade. So they're starting to give drinks at lunch and dinner and Shore Excursion credit. So that somewhat mitigates the difference between luxury and ultra luxury. So at the end of the day, the biggest differentiator, if we want to call it that, between those who think should they come down from ultra luxury to luxury is that there are some exclusions, but you have to do the math because Oceania is approximately half, sometimes a third of the cost of ultra luxury. Are those little bits that are missing from Oceania worth that difference? That's what you've got to calculate. That's what you've got to do to decide whether you're happy to go with it. Now, let's look at the other side, those coming from premium, which typically cost less than luxury. Would you notice the difference paying more coming up to luxury? Well, it depends how you are sailing on premium. If you're already paying and going suite class, you're somebody who's already paying for the retreat or the haven or grills or yacht club, let's just call these the suite class, the difference between those and luxury is less pronounced. But if you're in the standard cabins on premium lines, the difference going up is a lot more noticeable. The first aspect you'll notice coming up from premium to luxury is the smaller and more manageable size of the ships, and also the atmosphere aboard. It's far less busy, more relaxed, with more space. Pool areas on luxury ships are less stressful, easier to get your recliners, and lines at the bars are more manageable, and many of the restaurants are included in the fare. For example, on Oceania, all specialty dining is included. Premium lines definitely charge for these, so you have all these cost savings. Also, as of 2026, Oceania has now moved to a new model of no kids, adults only. So if that's an issue for you, then Oceania is very much going to be high up on your list. If there is one area though to alert you to though, is that premium ships and resorts are known for their entertainment. If you've typically sailed on, say, Celebrity or Princess or even Holland America, to a certain extent Cunard, all these premium lines, entertainment is a big focus. There's lots of high-energy shows and several performance venues around the ship. There's buzz, for want of a better word. So just be aware if you're coming to luxury, or indeed ultra-luxury for that matter, entertainment will be more muted, you might say, sedate, casual. That's one aspect that does catch people out, those who hadn't realised that entertainment is going to be a little bit more quiet. Incidentally, for those who were asking, having watched video 1, there is a casino aboard the Allura. Here it is. It's not huge, but it does cover most of the bases. I wouldn't say Oceania is necessarily known for its casinos, but it's just fine in this respect. Now, on the subject of comparisons, who's doing what, in the next couple of weeks I will be bringing out a brand new video comparing all 5 of the premium cruise lines, putting them all head to head, because we've been on all 5 over the past 18 months. We've filmed them extensively, and I'm going to be putting them head to head and saying what are the differences of all 5 premium cruise lines, what each is strong or weak at. So make sure you're subscribed. It will be essential viewing if you're looking at some of these premium cruise lines. For those interested in ultra luxury, we have our 2-part series on Crystal. That's been available on our channel for the last couple of months. Plus also we have a 2-parter on Azamara. That's very popular these days, getting a lot of inquiries. Plus 70 other videos of cruise ship reviews on our YouTube channel. If you haven't watched part 1 of our Oceania Allura review, it's available here. You can click on that now, and so many of our other cruise ship reviews here. Thank you so much for joining us on the Ritzy Travel Guide. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us, and we'll see you in one of these videos now.